Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. All right, we're in the studio right away because I don't have any time to spare getting this news to you. AIYIMA has made a change with their A80 Class D amplifier. We reviewed this not too long ago. We're going to find out exactly what changes were made. You're not going to want to miss this. Welcome back into the studio, night edition. Now, you don't usually film at night, but I thought it might make sense in this case because part of what we need to demonstrate is the screen. So I remember last time it was really hard to film the screen, and I'm hoping that the lack of ambient light will help. So here we are, and I did compare these side by side, and the boxes are even a little bit different. So let's see here. We got this box here with accessories. I'm assuming that's what this is. It's been long enough. It's been a few months. I don't remember that much about the other one, except that it seemed like it was pretty passable. Good stuff. All right. Got an AC cord here, and then the amplifier itself is right here. So A80. 2 or 2.1 channel, depending on whether or not you have the subwoofer or a subwoofer connected. 300 watts max times 2. Obviously, that's all dependent on power supplies, etc. Here's a look at the specifications if you want to freeze frame that. Bluetooth 5.1, 300 watts at 24 ohms. And inside the main box, this is all high quality closed-celled foam, by the way. Got an optical cable. We've got the manual itself. Full color. Nice. And this warranty card. Got an antenna for the Bluetooth. A USB-C. Another one of these remotes. Oh, look, I don't think the other one had A80 on it. That's kind of cool. Because you need to identify them because they all start to blend together. And then we've got the product itself. Yeah. Nice little small unit here. Obviously, this is a Class D amplifier. This is a micro switch, infinite knob, glass front plate, all metal construction. This is, I think it's cast aluminum. I think is how they do that. Here's the back panel. We got RCA caps there, and a closer look here. You can see there's RF cover too, but USB-C connection, we got TRS connections, RCA connections. Digital inputs, we have optical and coax, those will both be SPDIF. 12-volt trigger connection, and an aux output, which is cool if you want to bypass the unit. And then these really nice gold-plated screw-down speaker terminals that also accept a plug in the back, and then the power supply. It can take DC 24 to 48 volts with a center positive. On the bottom, some ventilation holes, rubber pads, ventilation holes we saw on the sides. Okay, so we got it connected at least somewhat so far, and I'll shoot this video over a couple of days so we can do the speaker test, etc. But we really kind of covered that in the regular review, and rather than just repeat myself, what I want to do is show what's different. So they made some updates. So this was originally released last year, and this is the updated model. So it features a few upgrades. One of the things they upgraded was making the fonts easier to see from across the room. They gave more control specifically to bass controls, treble controls from the remote control. And they also added some more visual options in there as well, and just kind of improve the user experience. You can actually do a software update to the older version to make it the newer version, but yeah, this is the latest hardware with the latest software. So let me go ahead and get recalibrated for the shot here. I'm going to dim the lights and we will turn it on, but I'm going to start with all the studio lights on so we can see if we even need the advantage of shooting at night. So here we are. And it is connected to power. By the way, let's take a look really quickly here at the remote control up close. So it's similar, but apparently the functionality has been changed. And on the back, it's a AAA model, which is good. And I've got no batteries in there, which Probably should have realized before I was about to press that button. I would have been mighty disappointed. So let me put some batteries in and we'll try this again. This time equipped with batteries, I'm going to press the power button. Yeah, it looks, it's plenty bright to the naked eye. It's not like glaringly bright, but I don't feel like, oh, it's dim or anything like that. That being said, these screens never look as good on camera as they look to the naked eye. So I'm going to kill the lights here kind of one by one until we find an optimal choice here. That's pretty good. Here's the last light. Yeah, that probably looks the best. Okay, so first impression is that's awful tiny print. So I'm staying like 3 feet away. I still can't see those characters. They're tiny. Like I have to get up close here, look at the camera. And also it looks milky on camera still, kind of pasty. Okay, so I think that this is the best combination of lights for what we're trying to do here. Because I noticed if I turned all the lights off, the colors washed out completely and they just looked white. And I want you to see this as close to what I'm seeing to the naked eye as it is. It looks pretty close, but it looks much better to the naked eye. All right, jumping into the menu, we have 4 options. We've got our input. So if we jump into the input, we've got RCA, TRS, coax, optical, USB, and Bluetooth. By the way, the Bluetooth is aptX HD, so it's a good one. It's not lossless, but it does 5.1, and you can choose those as well. And using the mode switch, I can select between them. Once you select that, you're back to the home menu, hitting the menu button again. I can go over to tone controls, supposedly. Oh, I had to hit down. I was hitting right. So apparently to advance in the menu, you press the down button. And then I've got bass and treble. Oops. And let's try that again. Oh, I get it. So the buttons are hardware buttons on the remote that would have bass, and you can adjust it like that, up or down. I think, if I want to remember right, 10 dB. Yeah, so that's good. Bass and treble controls, do a little sound shaping. All right, clicking on settings. So it has a standby option where you can make adjustments. So we can adjust the light up and down, the brightness essentially. And then auto standby on or off, and then style. And they've added more options in here. Before, I think there was 3, and now we've got more than that. So I like these. These are cool, very, very cool. They look like analog VU meters. Going back here, I can go down to this one, like a large sweeping style. I think that's the one we settled on last time. Going back here, we got this kind of spectrum analyzer with different colors. The older version of this, it was kind of a grayscale only, so the full color is new. We'll test these with actual music too. But yeah, so those are the 4 options. I'm kind of digging this one. I think that looks pretty cool. But again, there's no way, unless you have like incredible vision, which I don't, that you're going to be reading those values from any more than 1.5 feet away. That's just all there is to it. So, okay. And that, I believe, is it. It's a simple device, but it's designed to get the job done. It's an amplifier. So once you've got your input selected, you can adjust tone controls. There are a few settings, not many, but that's what you have for settings. There's a back button on the remote. I should have been using that before now. And then the style of the VU meter, and that's it. And then it sends the audio out to your speakers. And as usual, I'll be using my amazing 18-watt 4-ohm speakers. But again, testing speakers and this type of audio equipment is very difficult on YouTube because you're ultimately listening to your speakers, your amplifier. But I feel like you're entitled to hear something. So I do want to hook it up and we'll give it a sound test. But you know what? We can do that in the daytime. So let's go ahead and switch to daytime mode.
This adapter's where it all begins. Your vinyl dreams are calling out loud. Be the king, be the queen of the record crowd. Record-ology's got what you must embrace. A 45 adapter to rock the place.
Okay, it's the next day. More specifically, it's the next night. And here we are with our favorite 4-ohm speakers, 18 watts. And I'm not as much focused on the sound testing and sound quality. We already know what it sounds like. This is more of a GUI interface update more so than anything else. I think the hardware is all the same. So for audio today, I've got a little internet radio. We'll be listening to some Japanese radio. I have no idea what they're going to say. I don't know if I agree with it or not. We're just using it as an audio source. Completely neutral on whatever they're saying. I have no idea what it is. But I just thought it would be interesting to have something to look at the VU meters with, etc. So without further ado, let me get this connected and we will do just that. Okay, we are connected and the volume is really low. That's why we're not seeing anything yet. You're just hearing ambiently through the vocal mic here. So I can turn this up to pretty high level without distorting it. Also interesting, the VU meters don't register that much. And it says coming out of a headphone jack. But let me crank the headphone jack. Yeah, so you really need like a line level. But then look at this. If I turn the volume down, the VU meters stop moving. So it's based on not the line level signal. It's based on how loud the volume is more than anything. So that's kind of annoying. Okay, let me bounce to the different menus here. Let's try, oh, that's the different modes. So we want to stay on analog, RCA inputs, and I want to jump into the menu. And we're going to go down to style. And let's take a look at it with this one. And I'm going to turn the volume up. Looks pretty cool. I'm going to kill one of the lights to kind of see if we can see that screen a little better. That's always a trick. All right, and let's go into... That's pretty cool. Are we getting a stereo signal? Can we tell? And obviously this is streaming audio, so it's not the highest quality. Let's look at this one. That one looks really sharp and clear to the naked eye. Alright. And I think I'm going to like this one the best. Yeah, that's cool. Also, I would love it if the VU meters, quote unquote, because they're really just visualizers. I don't think that they're technically VU meters. I wish that they were based off of the source signal and not the volume of the unit, because you have to crank it to get anything to look at, and that's kind of annoying. Okay, again, it's mono, but you are listening ambiently in the room. We're using the Shanling CD player. Completely wirelessly. Bluetooth. Skip tracks. Thanks to Laura Ainsworth for the music. But yeah, here's a little sound test.
The more I read the papers, the less I comprehend the world and all its capers, and how it all will end. Nothing seems to be lasting. It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time they go. But oh my dear.
Okay, final thoughts. So I've spent quite a bit of time over the course of these two videos with this device, both with the older firmware and the newer firmware. The noticeable difference, the only thing that I can really notice, is the extra option for a VU meter, which is cool. So I think that everything shipping now should hopefully have the newer version. I can't guarantee that. But as far as Class D amps go, I like this one. I think it's solid. There's no issue that I can see with it. The display isn't the most clearly legible from across the room. So I think I would prefer this like on a desktop setup rather than, something that was, say on your main hi-fi, just because of the visuals. But if you don't care about the visuals, or you can see them from far away and have incredible vision, or maybe if you put it on one of the larger VU meters, you might be fine with that. Less than $200, so there's definitely cheaper Class D amps out there. Not saying they're as good as this one though, so this may be well worth it. Build quality is exceptional. Sound quality is great. And I don't see any issue with this per se. And we're just nitpicking. We're just testing out the user experience. If you want to hear more and see more about this amp, I'll link to my original video in the description. And you can kind of get a better idea of it perhaps that way. But yeah, not a bad amplifier at all. All right, my friends, and that's going to do it. It's a good little device. It's actually a DAC as well. It's got digital inputs, and you can use it for that purpose. It's nice, small footprint, about the same size as all the other Class D amps out there. So many of them, right? So it's kind of like when people ask me like, would you prefer this or that? And they're so similar. It's like, well, pick your favorite color at that point, pick your favorite features, make sure that the feature set does what you want it to. But in terms of quality, there's so many available now. And that goes for record players and Class D amplifiers that you kind of, once you get into a certain class of product, you can kind of pick your favorite based on feature set. So, which is good. It puts it in the consumer's choice and you don't just have one choice. And I think that that's a good thing. So yeah, this is a good little device. I would recommend it. I'll put a link down below. And if you're interested, go ahead and snag one. I wouldn't mind it. And again, if I used passive speakers in my main setup, I'd go for something like this. Don't forget our $1 membership program, our custom 45 adapters, our Amazon store, and soon merch. Merch will be back soon. And again, if nobody's welcomed you yet and you're new here, welcome. We're glad to have you. You found a safe and happy space to hang out and talk tech, learn stuff, demonstrate stuff, and just have an all-around good time. My friends, that's going to do it for today. So happy record hunting, and we'll see you next time.